Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Crayfish. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin stocks and all of it. It has been quite the week. Bitcoin is down over 15% on the week, and we predicted this. If you have been watching this channel, you knew this was coming, and hopefully, you positioned accordingly and are reaping the rewards right now. We're going to talk about all that. Stick around to the end because I will be doing a free market class giveaway at the end to those who are sticking around because you are of the top 10% of crypto. There are so few people in the market right now, guys. It has flushed out all those weak hands, all those people who are new, and there's really very little froth. We have seen historically low levels of fear and greed, and we're going to talk about all of that today. So, this has been a crazy week in the markets. If you've been following, we got this high on the 21st and we got this low on the 28th. And between these 7 days, right, 1 week, we got a 21.5% capitulation. Whoo-hoo! That is a big move, guys. We're not range bound anymore, and we talked about this likely coming. So, some things I want to go through. It has been kind of a tough month for the cryptoverse, kind of definitely a tough week for a lot of people, and I want to do some celebrations. So, on this channel, we've been talking about a lot of things that really have been nailing it on the head. We've been positioning really well. We've been expecting what's going to happen. And I want to kind of congratulate us all for that. So we're going to go back through some receipts because unfortunately that's the way this space works. And I'm going to prove to you that I said these things on earlier dates before they happened because it was pretty sweet, almost like Oracle action in some ways. We'll talk about the general state of the market, of course, and then we'll do that giveaway at the end. So let's start with just the general state of the market here. This is what I was talking about with YouTube subscribers, right? So look at the peak last bull cycle. And I do think this is one of the things that you can point to. If you're worried the cycle is over, this tends to be what it looks like when the cycle is over, right? This is when you get a top, when there's huge froth in the market. Look at all those new YouTube subscribers, right? This is crazy. And by comparison, we right now are so low. We're at about a tenth of those numbers. And it should theoretically go up between different cycles. So we're really, really low. And that's why you should be proud. You are one of the most committed to still be here. Even if you're not necessarily taking a position, the fact that you're educating yourself is really great. And I congratulate you for that. Some other things I want to point out here are, let's look at our risk level. Latest risk value is 0.492. We're back below 0.5. That's pretty sweet. And usually I expect, we've kind of been getting these lower highs. I expect our top again to be at least above 0.8 this cycle. And we didn't even really get close to that. So, again, I do not think the cycle's over. I think this is normal volatility in the market. And if you're new to the market, it probably feels really scary. Even for me, it can feel kind of scary, especially when there's large size and you're just watching back to back to back to back brutal days. All right. The other thing I wanted to show you all is our current monthly returns chart, because this is pretty wild. There it is. We're closing today negative 16% for February. That's pretty brutal. That's the second worst February on record. And the first worst was during a bear market year. So 2026. Definitely not during a bull market year. In fact, the bull market years, right? 2021, 2017, and 2013, we've never had a red February. So just shows you, it often rhymes, but there's some things that are different between cycles, and you can't exactly just go month to month chart to time it. Now, something that's going to give you the opposite impression, we can look at the logarithmic regression, and you can see how similar this looks to last cycle, right? So we'll zoom in on last cycle. This was the low. Then we have this mid-cycle top, which is a little bit above the green regression band. If you don't know what this is, it's just all the data of Bitcoin over time fit to a logarithmic regression curve. It generally tends to go up on a logarithmic scale. Then pulls back to this midline. Exclude the pandemic here, or you can take it and it goes down to the bottom line. And then we get some starting to run, hanging out by the midline for a while. It breaks that upper line and boom, goes all the way to the red line. Okay, now let's look at our current cycle. Right here we are. We'll do the same scale. So lows, you can see lows are actually a little bit lower. We went below the bull market support band this time, or below the logarithmic regression. You can see because of that, our mid-cycle peak was not actually above this green line. It was below it. Still pulled back to about the midline. Started moving, hanging out still around that midline, as we did for a while last cycle. And then theoretically, if this cycle is relatively similar to the past ones, we should break this green line at some point in 2025 and head towards this red line. Depends on when we would hit it, but this is putting us at 260 in June. Now, do I think that's likely? I think that's overshooting it, to be frank. I don't know if we'll get all the way to this red line, but I think expecting the green line, the upper green line in Q4 is pretty reasonable. And that puts you right at 153. So that could be quite a nice move, especially considering, we're at almost 75 yesterday. That's a double from here on Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind. Now let's talk fear and greed. We just got historically low values. Okay, yesterday it came in at a 10. And it's not actually showing on here right now. But it came in at a 10, and today is at a 16. Both of those are extreme fear, right? Like, you look back in the depths of the bear market, 21, 29, almost nothing as bad as this. Even the depths of COVID was 14. So we really have seen a crazy amount of fear in the markets, and that traditionally is a really great buying opportunity. Look at any time there was deep red on these charts. It may have gone lower in the short term, but over the long term, really quite nice. So that's what I'm focusing on, and I think we are looking good. Now let's go back over some receipts. Let's show how we've been killing it in this community, and hopefully you feel that way as well. So first video we're going to just take a look at. These are all on my channel. You can go check them out if you haven't seen them. This was 2 weeks ago on the 10th of February. Okay. And to give you an idea of where the 10th of February is, it's right here on the chart. We're at 97K Bitcoin, but Ethereum had just had this crazy drop. Right, we had this crazy liquidity spike down a week earlier. And then we bounced up a little bit, but we're still at about a $2,700 Ethereum. And in this video, let's just watch a little bit. I'm talking about the great pivot, right? I'm talking about why Ethereum is not right for this point in the cycle. and I'm pivoting away to Bitcoin. And you can see that was because of many different factors. Go take a look at the video. I'm not going to go through it all here. But we called that back on February 10th. And a lot of people thought it was ridiculous, called for alt season over and over and over again while Bitcoin was still in that range. And look at it today. You've got Ethereum down to $2,200. It was at $2,100 yesterday. So if you had listened and pivoted when I did, you would have saved roughly about 30%, which is pretty major, especially if you're in a leveraged fund like I was. So that's pretty huge, and something that I'm glad we got that call right, and I think it's definitely the move to be in Bitcoin for now. You can see my header here. Here it is. Altcoin season. Nope. U-turn. Back to Bitcoin only. So we nailed that. Then next one, I'm going to show you. This was on. Let's see. Is it showing me what day? This is on February 14th, Valentine's Day. And let's see what I say. Okay. And what happened, guys? Well, if you don't know what falling wedge I'm talking about, I'll draw it for you. This is the stuff we love on the charts. Get our nice little drawing. Boom. And we can draw that lower bound as well. Although maybe it's not super necessary. I think most everyone gets the idea. Like so. And you can see we're in this wedge for a long time. It actually, if you zoom out, it can become even bigger. Right, you take it to these macro levels. There you go. So that's the month following wedge. We broke out right here and we retested. So this was where I made the video, right? February 14th. There it is. Retested. Got a nice retest of the line we broke out of. Boom. I said 100K. We got to 99.5. Pretty sweet. If you want to catch moves like that, subscribe to this channel. I think we're going to keep nailing it. Then there's this one. This one's a great one. I just made this last week before this major dump. There you go. And it was indeed range bound, right? And we got the fake out. We went to 99.5, and a lot of people FOMO'd in, but we said don't pay attention unless it breaks 100. Didn't break 100, and instead we broke 90. Boom. Big move. That's what happened next. Now let's look at our market free fall video. This one was really awesome, guys. This was just 6 days ago when Bitcoin was at right around 96K, you can see. And in the title of the video, I say Bitcoin to 90K, stocks to 5,900, and options, oh my. Okay? And we talk about a lot of things in this video, and all of them have played out really strongly over this week. So it's pretty cool to see. This was what I drew on the charts, and I gave you guys my exact plan for when I'm buying and what I'm buying. So back to bull market support band, buy another 10K BitU. That's between 90 and 91. I did that. Check mark. Number two, second price target, Also hit this week below 85 by 15K BitU. I was buying 87, 84, 81. My average is 84 on that buy. So feeling good about that one. Nailed number 2. Number 3 we haven't gotten yet, but it's on here. Below 77K by 20K BitU. And that one, I think, most likely scenario in my head, we still get that. So I'm calling for it right now. I do think we'll see below 77K. Right now, our low is 78K. I don't think we're necessarily fully out of the woods yet, but I'd love to see it hold 74K because that's where this previous high was. Now we can talk about the stock market. Let's just go in to see what I was saying right here. Because this was, back when we were coming down from the all-time highs and we had this big day down to around 6,000. Okay, so that's what we said, right? This was last Friday. Let's see what we got, guys. I don't know how closely you've been following the stock market this week, but it's been pretty volatile. And the analysis, look at it's all still here. Didn't even touch it. You can see our exact box we had in that video. Boom. Right? It literally bottomed on the trend line I drew a week ago. Boom, bottom. Right in that demand zone we talked about. And we just got a nice bounce off that. Will it hold? We could. I think if we lose 5,800 or 5,850, really, I think we could go back to 5,700. And I think that's still possible. But it seems like the market wants to try and hold this level. So I'm cautiously optimistic here. Pretty sweet to see that analysis really play out super strongly. The other ones we talked about were Shopify and Google, if you were interested in those. And I can show you the receipts. So I'm not going to go back and rewind. You can watch it if you want to, but I basically said we're going to pull back to this 115 where we are now, and potentially the long-term demand zone is around 110. And we just closed the week at about 112. So I think we're looking pretty good. If you look at the long-term structure on Shopify here, it's looking really nice. And I can draw this line for you just so you can see it. Give me a year chart. And here's the long-term structure I'm talking about. Let me draw it to this low. Hold on, sorry. Can be hard to get it right sometimes. Okay. Alright, should be ignore the wick. That line right there. And we're looking quite nice there. So that's good. Google was maybe the most surprising of the ones I talked about. But even that one I called quite well. And if you follow Google at all this week, we got that gap fill and a bit more. I definitely was buying pretty heavy. We ended up closing the week right at 170. You can see we definitely filled this gap here. And we actually came down towards these supports down here. I'll point out on the chart, there is one gap still missing. Try and see if you can find it before I draw it. Boom. Big gap, right? All the way to 204. Again, we just got the gap fill to the downside. I'm not saying we immediately have to get the gap fill to the upside, but I do think it's likely sooner rather than later. So that's why I'm positioning calls. I think it's a good spot to be. In the free giveaway, I will teach you how to, do some of these analysis for yourself, and really think about things in a smart way, choose your positioning, all that type of stuff. And we can talk about the broader fundamentals of markets, all that type of stuff, really whatever you are most invested in learning. So hopefully some people are interested in that. We're going to start to wrap it up here. I would say, guys, on this downturn, if you're wondering with Bitcoin, I think you're looking really nice to pick up more. Really, anywhere below 77. I think between 77 and 72 is a great buy range, right? You can see where it's just holding this upper limit of where we consolidated for 9 months earlier this year. And Bitcoin loves to do a touch back there. So there was a gap on this chart. You can't really see it, but it just filled it. But I think it's still possible we get a bit lower. So remain cautious, stick to your plan, and really stick to that psychology. Don't overthink things. Remember, when the market is super fearful, is a great time to buy, and you need to lean on all the analysis and knowledge you have about the market. If you don't have enough, get some more. So that's what I'd say about Bitcoins. Alts, avoid. I think until you get quantitative easing, they're going to bleed. And you've seen it with, Sol BTC this week has been brutal. ETH BTC seems like it's headed back towards this big wick we got a little bit ago. It seems to just close below and crack this. So yeah, I really only be looking at Bitcoin right now, guys. I will let you know, and definitely I'm interested in at least Ethereum when it's time, but a lot of people have been calling for it, and it was wrong, and that's why we made the pivot away. So I'm staying away until we get quantitative easing. As for the giveaway, the rules are like the video, comment down below, and I will randomly select a winner and reach out to you via YouTube, and then we can set up a call for whenever you would like your market lesson. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and I will talk to you all soon. Have a great day.